Welcome everyone at our weekly community meeting of developers Cozystack. We have Telegram group where you can join and ask any of your questions. We also have channel in official Kubernetes Slack. And traditionally, we are asking if there anybody who want to introduce yourself, somebody new, or who want to introduce yourself if they didn't introduce yourselves previously. Okay, probably nobody want to talk about. You can put your name into this document. I will just put link here. To be able editing it, you have to join Cozystack development group, and you can you will have access to edit this file automatically after that. And let's go to the agenda. And the first news is Cozystack 0.10 release. There are a lot of new features, interesting features, and I'm going to tell about them a little bit more. First, the nuts was introduced. Nuts is a service which allows you to make a subscription. It's pretty similar to Kafka. Right now, it is in very basic state, so it just allows you to deploy nuts without authentication, and you can immediately start using it. The second change is FerretDB. FerretDB is MongoDB replacement. We didn't adopt MongoDB because of BSL license, and we decided to use FerretDB for implementing MongoDB protocol. This is already ready to use. It supports configuration of users. Every user here is administrator. It is also allowed to make backup scheduling. Actually, this database is based on Postgres. It uses Postgres as backend. So all the data which you store in FerretDB will be transmitted to Postgres. The next really cool change that we enabled network policies. Now every tenant, when you're creating new tenant in Cozystack, you can enable isolation. When this flag is enabled, it will automatically create Cilium policies, egress, and how's it called? Ingress and egress policies, which isolating those workloads from the tenant. So as you can see, we have many databases who don't use authentication here. You can create isolated environment and to let services just communicate between them. There are no extra configuration needed. So it just isolates tenant from the others. By default, the upper tenants have access to bottom tenants, but bottom tenants have no access to upper and to the same level tenants. The only exception is etcd, because it is possible to create etcd cluster on upper tenants and to run Kubernetes clusters in down level tenants. And they still have to have access to this etcd cluster to read and write into it. So all of these rules configured now automatically just by enabling this feature. Also, the added option for enabling dashboard. For example, if you have ingress resource, you can update it. And here you can enable dashboard. It will automatically create ingress for the dashboard and query the TLS certificate. Also, two new options were added, like whitelist. Here you can specify specific subnets from which you can allow access from. And as well, you can enable Cloudflare proxy, which allows you to recover user IP address from the proxified Cloudflare service. Thanks, Ruben, for this contribution. This is one of the amazing external contributions to Cozystack. What else is changed? Yeah, all the logos now for dashboard are shipped with the platform. So all these logos you see here, previously they were downloading from the external sources, from Wikipedia and various websites from the external network. Now all of them just shipped with the platform, so you do not worry about external requests for those logos. Postgres also was updated. There were added additional event trigger for setting correct permissions for newly created schemas. If you don't know, Postgres database usually have database abstraction, and inside of every database, you can have also schema abstraction. So for every schema, now correct permissions are set. We also improved development experience a little bit. So if you do development of Cozystack components, you can sometimes forget to unsuspend the Helm releases. Now, every time when you deploy new Cozystack, if you're starting container, they will be unsuspended automatically. Also fixed several issues with Kafka. Small change about naming for the system releases. We have specific Helm charts, which are some software in Cozystack is not managed by operator, it's still managed by flags. And it is installed from system packages. We decided to put specific suffix for those applications, and now all of them will have system suffix. Currently, there are 3 of such applications. It is Jinx Ingress, Grafana on Call, and Nuts. Also, we updated etcd operator. We released new version. Now it is possible to resize etcd clusters. So now you can just go here and update the amount of PVCs. If you're using clean store, it will be online resized. Also, the fixed metric collection for Jinx Ingress, and I think I can show you beautiful dashboards here. It is not so beautiful because I don't have so much requests in my Jinx Ingress, but I think we can check the previous states. Let's switch to short term. I had something here. So it is actually showing you every the host and the amount of errors, how it is working, the traffic on it, which is really convenient and useful. There are also other dashboards like the amount of connections, percent of requests, responses. So if there would be more traffic, it will be like more detailed. That's it. This is new release, and there is upcoming patch release. It will include the fixes for Jinx Ingress controller for routing traffic to tenant Kubernetes clusters, because since last update, it was updated to a newer version of KubeVirt. It stopped propagating needed labels to the virtual machines, and Jinx Ingress stopped routing traffic to it. I think we will fix this issue soon, and expect to newer version like 10.1, I think in a few days. That's it. Do you have any questions? Okay, in this way, let's switch to OpenFlower, and I'm going to show you what exactly the problem was for routing traffic to the tenant clusters. Right now, there is already a first fix. We just added propagation for node role for the virtual machines. This easy fix, but it will put specific labels to the virtual machines, which would allow to catch correct pods by Nginx ingress, so the traffic will go to those virtual machines. The second issue is way more difficult because when you're using Nginx ingress inside of your Kubernetes clusters, in your tenant Kubernetes clusters, it can serve for HTTP and HTTPS port. The problem here that upper Nginx ingress is not have functionality to split this traffic between those two ports. It is possible to just send traffic to port 80 or to port 4043. Currently, I don't know how to solve this. I'm trying to dig into Nginx.conf and to find a way to make a custom configuration to make it working. One of the possible solutions is to implement traffic server, traffic ingress, because I know it does support this configuration. But it would be also nice to configure Nginx ingress because we already have all the infrastructure prepared and dependent on it. If you have any ideas, please feel free to share it.
Maybe can we implement some other solution, look like ingress hub proxy?
Never tried that, but I think it is a good idea. We can do this.
It's very universal realization of ingress controller because it's cover TCP and UDP traffic and more performance way for ingress controller.
Yeah, I like this idea. Haven't you tried the hub proxy ingress controller?
Yep, I have on all productions hub proxy, but if I use for development clusters, we use traffic because we use multi domains site, and for testing best solution may be traffic because we can get more flexibilities without restarting ingress controller service.
All right. So
yes, but the hub proxy for very big traffic and it's more simple for configuring and have enough configuration options and modifications.
Correct. The only problem is I think hub proxy is more likely a layer 4 balancer, and we need layer 7 balancer. That means that we also need to query specific host names.
And hub proxy have another point. It's a very stable solution and have Proxy Enterprise or Proxy Age, something like that. We can always have some point to buy a solution from a proxy company if we need.
Yeah, you mean to make partnership with Proxy to allow them to sell
Yes,
software and enterprise subscription using Cozystack.
Mm-hmm.
I like
If
this
we
idea.
need some compliance or we need some cover to some enterprise solutions, but also we can use community proxy, and it's very stable solution.
Yeah, right now we need just community solution. I like the idea to implement Proxy because the Proxy ingress controller, because Proxy itself, it is already implemented and it is possible to use right here, TCP balancer. It is Proxy. But it is very static, so you have to specify where exactly you want to route your traffic explicitly. So it will not handle Kubernetes ingress resources nor even gateway API resources. But I like the idea that we can also, using Proxy, to expose the databases into external network. It might be useful in case if we want to provide the opportunity for create database hosting and to not reuse the big amount of IP addresses, or to reuse just the single one. I like this idea, but for now, as usual, we have no resources for that. So if somebody from community would like to try, we are free to guide how to do this.
You can create task, and I start digging with the solution. Maybe I can describe some things, what I see as this implementation, or start simple.
I think the first task should be something like to make research what the features it have and how it can be useful for Cozystack.
Sure.
Because adding any extra solution just for fun, it is always fun, I agree, but it may also create additional load for supporting it. So we have to find, it is better to find someone who would use it and to support it, or just not to edit just for fun. So yeah, main idea is here. I think if you're interested in that, you can also create issue that it can make sense to implement Proxy. And if somebody would like to join, they will see this issue and say, "Hey, what the state of this?" And we will say them, "Hey, you can try this."
Okay.
So it is more like to have the issue for let others find that we are open to develop and use it. But to develop it right now, I think it might be it might create additional load for supporting this solution in Cozystack. The other option is Triafic. I heard that it is also possible to use, but I don't see any other advantages over Nginx Ingress. The only thing it is really useful that it can route both HTTP and HTTPS traffic to the upstream and to the right port, which Nginx Ingress does not support yet.
Wait, can you repeat? Because if I understand correctly, Andrei, can you repeat your conclusion?
We're considering various options for ingress controllers.
Yeah, I know, but you say about the
Yeah, the problem we have right now that we have Kubernetes management Kubernetes cluster and tenant Kubernetes clusters. When we create a new, if we want to use the same ingress controller from the management cluster to route traffic to the tenant Kubernetes clusters, we need to configure the rule that every packet coming to port 80, it should come into the tenant cluster into port 80. If it's coming on 4043, it should go to the 4043. Because if you create some rules inside of tenant clusters, they can be working just for port 80 or for port 4043. And it is not handled by upstream Jinx ingress proxy.
Cannot be handled via endpoint rule.
The problem is, it is there is some option for updating, for specifying configuration snippet, which would handle this. I can show you what my findings right now.
Okay, that means the root tenant, it's something like how it's called, the termination, gateway termination.
We don't need to terminate traffic on this upstream Jinx ingress. I'll try to explain. We have this Kubernetes service, and it has it routes all the traffic to the nodes with role ingress in Jinx. So this is ordinary pods, which just have this label.
Okay.
This service is serving two ports, 80 and 443. And now we have this ingress rule. We do SSL pass-through. That means all the packets coming to this ingress, they should be passed through to the service as is. So it will not terminate SSL traffic. And here two rules for port 80 and for port 443. The problem is the only one route is working. If I do backend protocol HTTPS, then it will send all the traffic to the 443.
We have one selector, but we can try to create separate two selectors for tenant cluster.
In this way, the Jinx ingress webhook will refuse you to create two different Jinx ingresses with similar rules. So what I'm trying to do right now is to write additional configuration snippet. It is allowed to match on which port the packet is received and to rewrite the target. For example, I can say for port 80 should be used this target, and for port 443 should be used this target. And that works perfectly. The only problem is that if you do, so this is how it looks like inside of Jinx configuration file. This is configuration snippet edit, and then it passes it to the proxy. The problem here that it is only possible to use only one type of protocol, and it is not possible to override proxy pass. I can do some configuration overrides on top of it, but it is not possible to override proxy pass. So I can send only packets to using HTTP or HTTPS protocol, and it is controlled by this option. This one. When it is enabled, then this path is used. When it is disabled, then HTTP path is used. And I don't know how to send to both.
Yeah. If we use proxy, we don't have this problem.
Yeah, because it will just send pure TCP traffic. I was thinking to use.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ænix Ingress also supports WebSockets.
It's not about WebSockets. It's looks like stream.
Yeah, streams, correct.
Yeah.
Sorry for that, annotations. So there is the very latest configuration. It is allowed to create stream snippet. So we can say, server, listen to this kind of port and pass it to this endpoint. The problem is it is not very automatically integrated to the Ænix Ingress. It is more likely used for proxying, I know, statically.
It's very, very complex configuration, and it's very, very big problem with maintaining this configuration. It looks like we can use a proxy, and it's very simple way, for my opinion.
One of the other options is to update templating for Ænix Ingress. We are rebuilding it anyway. So we can simply update the templates for have the opportunity to specify proxy protocol in like to here. We can also use it to put environment variable here. Like, I know, proxy upstream name, we can add proxy upstream protocol. And I hope it is going to work. For now, I haven't found any other options. So I'm still on my way.
Okay, but you try to implement maybe traffic ingress or try uses for.
I can try to use it, and I believe this will even be working. The only thing is that this Ænix Ingress is used for production for a few years, and I'm pretty sure about this. I have some fear about using traffic because it is new technology to me. So I can be sure that if I will implement this simple fix, maybe I even can send it to upstream project, so it will be joined to the upstream project. Hopefully it will be accepted. At least our last experience for patching Cilium was pretty successful. I think there shouldn't be problem to send patch for other community project, despite even having, I saw there about 2 or 3 different issues where people looking for the answer, and they still have no answer for this. There is still need someone to who would solve this.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Ruben.
Hello, guys.
I was just introducing Cozystack, the newer version of Cozystack with your changes, and I would say really thank you for sending it to us. The question I want to ask you about your next changes for adding external secret operator and for external DNS.
Yeah, sure. As we talked a day later in our Telegram chat, we were discussing about the Helm repository from where I have taken the external DNS, and it was Bitnami because I tried to find some chart where we can create some Kubernetes secrets in a dynamic way. But I think that I have just closed it now because I need to make separate branches in order to pull separate PRs. So I think that we can make some templates, additional templates where defining some variables, it will generate secrets if they are needed. So I will PR it a bit later. Now working on, I'm just now building Minio operator. I'm trying to use it now because I found it also useful for our needs. If it will be interesting, sure, I will PR it.
Yeah, we have a side task by implementing S3 buckets, and I'm still trying to start working on it. It is about using CVDFS. It is half done, and it also supports S3 buckets. And from the information I have, it should be more reliable and more flexible than Minio. Maybe
and
you
have
could,
more best performance.
yeah. It is
Yep.
very stupid and fast solution.
Okay, but even now when I'm trying to build with Minio, I have some thoughts about also the hard disk that it can be used, because if according to our getting started README, we are joining all the hard drives from the Talos nodes into some ZFS pools. And when I was yesterday searching for some information, I saw that, for example, Manio has also some direct PV, it's called, or I don't remember the driver, and even they opened some issue for the Talos, and they added some functions about HFS, something similar to HFS. I don't remember exactly how it was called, and so it allows us to use nodes disks directly without any tool like Lister now or something else. So, and I think that it is also mentioned to how it works and how fast it works when we are using direct drivers. So
yeah, you mean not direct, you mean system drive.
Yeah, system drive. So so now Talos also added some function. It's called FS something. I don't remember exactly, but it was made for the miner in order to have some options to directly mount these drives into operator. So I have one. Okay, yeah, Mariana, I can share.
Yes, but you need to be careful with Minio, because we use on production 3 years Minio cluster, and if we try to update with minor changes, we have crashed cluster and corrupted data, and it's a normal for Minio.
To lose the data. Yeah, I also heard a lot of stories like that. Be aware. But direct PV from Minio is not the thing which is actually using Minio. Direct PV is the thing like local path provisioner, but it allows you to create PVs with kubectl plugin. So you can say the same way like we're operating with Linstore right now. It allows you to use Kubernetes API for defining those volumes manually. Am I right, Ruben?
Yeah. But the only thing with Cozystack bundle that now is installed, it's not clear how to back up some, I don't know, volumes or something else. So how to make backups in order to not have damage anything.
But you can back up our servers, and you can use maybe something like Vim backup or some on-box solutions, maybe, or your
I
servers.
mean, we are not using, for example, Proximus or something else. So this is real bare metal installation. And for example, I was familiar to Longhorn, and there were some options. So you can pick up your volumes. I don't know via S3 or NFS or something else. But for the lead store, I'm not familiar with it, and so I can understand how to make some replication in order to have data saved anywhere else.
This is really good to put this into our documentation. There are two options, actually. There is some support from LinStore itself. It's called LinStore backup shipping. There should be documentation. No, this is just marketing article. So it allows you to create consistent backups with snapshotting and send them remotely to S3 server. And you can create schedule for automatically ship those backups, or ship just change the data. The only thing I have worries about this feature, when I was trying it, it was in early alpha. It was, I think, 2 years ago. Nowadays, I think it should be more stable.
Is this just any SLI commands, or it might be install something additional?
No, for this, you don't need to install anything. It can be configured on pure LinStore CLI. So you just create schedule. It has its own API, so you create scheduling. You specify which PVs you want to backup, and it will start backupping. The second option is more correct, but more difficult. The problem that currently Cozystack does not support snapshots. To make it possible to support snapshots, it is needed to install snapshot controller. There are good examples in Piraeus project. And then it is possible to implement backup functionality directly into Kubernetes, into Cozystack with Velero. So this is open source solution for backing up Kubernetes and all its volumes and ship them using Kubernetes snapshot mechanism. But to enable snapshot mechanism in Kubernetes, it is supported by backend, by LinStore itself. We just need to implement snapshot controller. Robert?
Andrei, shall I understand that's Cozystack backups thinking about the backup functionality, that's every PVC or a persistent volume it's backupped?
It will create additional custom resources where you can specify what you want to backup and how you want to backup.
Because
yeah.
You can have a local path, even as Ruben said, that's Minio, which can use the different persistent volume implementation, I would like to say, how we can get consistent backup of this. Yeah. So you have many technologies used.
I didn't get your question. Could you please repeat?
So Cozystack used them more than one, maybe one persistent volume implementation of platform. Yeah? We are using a LinStore as a one, can be also local host. That means
yeah, I got it.
Which data, and how we can universal say we are backupping the whole solution or whole cluster.
First of all, Cozystack is the thing which provides you managed services. So we have almost for every service, we have the opportunity for configuring backups itself. For example, here you can specify where and how you want to backup your database. And then there will be sent SQL files. It is in format for database itself. This is application-based backups, but Ruben also wants to backup all the PVCs in the cluster.
Yeah,
And I just say
that is much more maybe complicated task.
it is more universal solution, but to make such backups, you need to make them consistent because they're not aware of application logic. So we need to use snapshots, and there are two options how you can use it right now. Right now, there is possible opportunity for use backup shipping in LinStore. This should be already working, but it is only LinStore configuration. So Kubernetes knows nothing about the LinStore API and configured backup jobs there.
Yeah.
The more correct way here is to use Kubernetes as API first for configuring the right solution for making backups. To teach LinStore, be aware of all of these snapshot entities and to know how to actually create snapshots. It is needed to install snapshot controller. And then there can be used Velero backup solution, which also makes more smart backups. It can create backups of the Kubernetes configuration, as well PVCs, and even it has integration with KubeVirt. So it will suspend virtual machines during the backup and unsuspend for not for backup, for creating snapshot. So just for small amount of seconds, but the backup will be consistent after all.
Sure, but if we talk about databases, we can implement this global backups, but we need also can clean disk cache on databases server, because we cannot get a global consistent backup for this service.
Yeah. But at least having such backups might be better, at least better than have nothing.
yes, it's.
So I just think I don't know how much time you, Ruben, have, but if you're looking for a solution which you can use right now with no changes, you can consider using LinStore backups. I think they should be already stable. If you have more time, please help us to implement snapshot controller and Velero into Cozystack.
Yeah, I want to ask how it's called. What snapshot controller? Velero?
Velero and snapshot controller. The snapshot controller is a common entity in Kubernetes for handling snapshot resources. And as far as I know, Piraeus has really good integration with it.
We are using now Piraeus like Linstone operator or no?
Yes, we use Piraeus for provisioning LinStore clusters in Cozystack. So it is needed to enable also snapshot controller for make Kubernetes aware of snapshots and how to create them in LinStore. Thank you. I will put it into agenda.
I was thinking, I have one separate node which has many data center SSDs. I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, 16 terabyte disk. So I decided to just run Minio in not standalone mode, and in order to back up databases to that manual, and after manual, all that data also to send to that NFS server. So I thought maybe somehow I can handle also database not snapshots, backups, to use something also in our cluster, for example, some S3 tool, and after replicate that also to the NFS server.
I think you can just create external server with same min IO, for example. It is really easy to start. And I think it is nothing critical to use min IO for backups, because you can actually lose it until production is working. Anyway, so you just need to have some S3 backend. And as about backend solution, I hope that CVDFS will be implemented really soon. I think in next release, in next Cozystack release, we will already have CVDFS support, because we have business needs for using S3 and 3 buckets as well.
Can I ask, how are you going to use drives for CVDFS? So what it will use? It will use persistent volumes for storage class local or something?
Yeah, it will use storage class local, which is currently handled by LinStore. Maybe it will be interesting to you that LinStore also supports to use file store. So you can create storage pools using file. I'll just show you how to do this. So you use LinStore physical storage, and you have create device pool. Help. And it is allowed to specify. Oh, they probably removed this. Previously, there were an opportunity to use file store. Okay, let's try this. All right, I think it is in different command. LinStore storage pool. Create. Yeah, here, file. So you can specify file store. For example, I have node. And every node has 2 drives. I can create file store. Node name. So it will store the data in this directory. It should be passed into the container, but it will work. You don't need to use this direct PV, so you can get the same functionality with LinStore, I guess.
Okay, I got it. So first it's using the same PaaS via the Talus. So I mean, if we have some disks in our Talus, we can add file system without adding them to some ZFS pool, or we must first add them to pool and after already use the file system.
Yeah, by default, LinStore is working on top of storage pools. You can use ZFS or LVM. It is recommended way for using it. But if you have system drive, there is no opportunity to give it to LinStore, because it is already have some partition, and you don't have opportunity to use it in LinStore. There is file system for all the drive. So one of the options which you can do is to pass through this directory from the host, from the Talus itself, into LinStore satellite container. It can be done in LinStore configuration. And then use this command for create file-based store. Instead of using block devices, it will use just directory, and it will use like ordinary files and use them as block devices. It will even possible to use replication for this. The only thing, the snapshots are not working here. But I guess the same way with direct PV snapshots will not be working there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too.
Yes, but if we use ZFS, we can use some hacks and do it manually, some snapshots on ZFS.
If we use ZFS, the snapshots will be working in LinStore out of the box.
Okay.
Currently, in current phase, our Cozystack still not understand. It's not aware of snapshot topology in LinStore because there are few layers. Like we have bare metal layer and we have storage layer, storage API managed by LinStore, and we have Kubernetes API. So from the bottom part, the ZFS snapshots are supported. Layer upper, LinStore API supports snapshots and understand how they're working. And the upper layer, Kubernetes, it currently does not support, it does not understand what the snapshot is and how to create them. But it might be simply, this functionality can be simply added by installing snapshot controller. And I think it will work because it is supported by LinStore and Piraeus operator, which is providing it. Well, that's it. Thank you. 2 minutes left. Do we have any short question for the last few minutes?
I would like to say something about the Ænix whitelist. When I created it, I didn't thought about something that if we are enabling it, so it's creating, it is created all over other ingresses. So if we have, if we want, for example, to enable it only for dashboard, I don't know, but to have the Grafana dashboard accessible from everywhere, we must create separate annotation for dashboard, Grafana dashboard, and to define empty values for IP addresses, so it will already work. So we must, I think, for the old applications that users have no access to modify ingress, we must make there some option, for example, disable whitelist or something else in order to make that service available from everywhere.
How about changing whitelist option to make working only for service deployments like Grafana and dashboard? Because I think it is not very useful to use it for everything.
Yeah.
We have to think about how we can do this, but now we are out of time. So sorry, and feel free to discuss it in our chat and maybe GitHub issues. So see you next week, same time.
Okay. Have a nice evening, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. Bye.
Bye.